What is the plan for Austin? I'd like to know what their plan is. All they do is keep piling up trauma on my child. They didn't let him leave my house peacefully. They ransacked my house like they were looking for drugs. Didn't give us any reason for what was going on. We go from a closed file to a stranger showing up at your door and stealing your child and not even letting you say goodbye. And you just think it's a big nightmare and you'll see your kid in a few days when it's all sorted out. None of our family and friends were even asked if they could take him while this got sorted out. And so now nobody has seen or heard from him since, and it's been 5 years. That's against the law. Parental alienation is against the law. And it's against the law to put a child with the monsters that abused him and abused me and have threatened to have me killed, and were already denied by a judge to have any access to my child, and other social workers that said they're terrified of them and they'll never let them near my child. There are so many reasons and so many police reports on why these monsters are not supposed to be near my child. Look at how they won't even let him see or speak to me or any other friends and family. It's like only a monster is capable of that evil to keep a child from his mom. I haven't been able to hug and kiss him for 5 years. It's like putting a plant in a dark room and expecting it to grow. They leave my child in that abusive environment. And they say stupid things like they just hope Alice isn't kicking him down the stairs like she did to me. And they hope that the things that happen to me aren't happening to him. Yet none of these monsters even admit their issues. They've not gone to any counseling for alcoholism or anger management or marriage counseling or anything. When Alice would take me to a therapist as a child, she would expect them to fix me. And when they would tell her that she needs to be a parent and start disciplining Tina and actually create structure in the house, we'd never see a therapist ever again, because she doesn't want to be told that she's a bad parent, that she doesn't know how to parent, she's not capable of it, and that it's her fault. She wants the problem to be blamed on me, instead of the fact that she's a psycho. I mean, she literally says she wishes she never had kids, that kids ruined her life. I literally have emails from her stating in black and white that she hates my son. And they leave him there with a monster who tells him how he's not wanted and how he's hated, just the way I was told every day of my life. It's like, how much more evidence do you need? You literally have it in black and white from her that she doesn't want my kid and she's sending him to Europe to be with his sperm donor. Like, my son is scared and doesn't know who to trust for help because nobody believed him when he said he doesn't want to go with the monsters who hurt his mom. They lied to him and told him that wasn't true. Now everybody around him is being paid to continue with these lies. He has no neutral people around him. Nobody that knows him from before he was stolen. No one person who knows what he was like and how far he's regressed. Because everybody around him is paid by Frank and Alice or the ministry to continue with these lies. I don't know one person who would even let their child be next to Alice for 5 minutes alone with her. And my son's been stuck there for 5 years, where I can't hold him and tell him I love him and tell him the truth. And he just gets told that I don't love him and I don't want him. And they pretend that that's not happening, but it is. She would say those things to him when he was little before he remembers. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped them from seeing him, because who's gonna let somebody tell their kid that they don't love their child? I mean, no mom in their right mind is gonna let abusive monsters like that have a relationship with their child. And so I took him away from them, as they were beating me while I was holding him and calling him retarded and telling him I don't love him. We lived in a safe house to get away from these monsters. Like, the ministry helped us escape these monsters and their abuse. And now they've forced me and my child to be reliving this nightmare. And nobody does anything just because they don't have the money to pay for a lawyer. Like, that's sick. Everybody that looks at this case says it's fraud, it's illegal, nothing that happened to my son should have ever happened. And that no other people are cut off from their child entirely. Like, I've never even had one phone call with my son, nothing. Even drug addicts get supervised visits at a minimum, and I get zero contact with my child, and nobody can explain why. Just because they don't want my son to know the truth, so they keep him hostage. With their illegal bullshit that they just keep getting away with. So what is the plan when Austin finds out the truth? They can't deny that they didn't know he wasn't in a safe place, because they do know the truth. They just choose to ignore it and keep covering it up. When they go to court, they don't tell the judge all the evidence against Frank and Alice that they know they're keeping my child in abuse. They keep it to themselves. It's called withholding evidence. And they keep my son locked in this abuse. What is their plan for when he's a drug addict or locked in jail for beating somebody because that's all he's seen and that's all he's been taught? They're going to pretend it has nothing to do with them. It's their fault. They have no plan for my son's future. Their only plan is for them covering up their lies and their abuse at all costs, and my child is the cost. I don't know anybody else who would survive this long of not being able to hug and kiss their child and knowing their child is in danger. And there's just nothing you could do about it because they're sick monsters that have the power. They're supposed to be doing child protection, and all they do is child endangerment. I'm sure they wouldn't want any of their kids living with some monster who said they're going to hire a hitman to kill them, or who beat them or told them every day of their lives to kill themselves, or any of the other nasty, horrible things that I've had to survive. Nobody in their right mind would want their child to live in the same abuse that they escaped. You're supposed to want better for your children, not worse. And my child is suffering much worse than I had it. Because he's being told that his own mom doesn't love him and doesn't want him, and that's not true. When is somebody going to stand up and do what is right and save my child?